Are you ready for some brawling? Yes, you say? Well, how about some RPG brawling? What's that? RPG brawling? Well, it's River City Ransom, today on Power Up! Oh, hi everybody, welcome to the show. I'm just looking in my collection here, debating what game to do next. And, let's see here. What to do. Already did that one. Nah. I think I found my game. Give me just a second. I think I will do none other than River City Ransom for the NES, not to be confused with the Game Boy Advance version. So, let's brawl! River City Ransom is what I like to call an RPG brawler. I say that because you defeat foes for money, and you use the money to get items to make you better. Which is weird because usually in an RPG, you defeat enemies for experience points. Although in this game you don't get the experience points right away. Instead you get money. And so you go to stores and you get items from the stores. And also in the game you can use, being a brawler, the brawler side of things, you can use weapons enemies drop and use them against them. Cool, huh? I've always liked in this game when an enemy comes and is kind of beating me up a little bit, I like to get a weapon his friend has, that his friend brings with him. I relieve him of the weapon, and then bam, bam, bam. Oh, anyway, moving on. Stuff you can buy from the store with the money. Well, anyway, I should say, after a couple scenes of fighting people, and maybe a boss fit in for good measure, you go to like a mall area where you can buy items. And stuff you can buy can be food from restaurants, medication from what I think are pharmacies, that's what they look like to me anyway, and books from bookstores. And those three main items will boost your stats in different ways. Like give you stamina, or willpower, or up your throwing ability, or up another different stat. Being this is kind of an RPG, the question of grinding does come up. And truthfully, I don't care much for grinding. It can be kind of tedious to me, like in Final Fantasy or some other games. Like, oh, I just want to get on with the game, I don't want to grind, and blah blah blah. But in River City Ransom, it doesn't feel that bad. It feels not too tedious. Because I love brawlers, it's fun to knock out and beat the crap out of enemies. And also, because it's more so, it's kind of like in a widescreen type of view, there's some black on the top and black on the bottom. Black on the bottom, there's like, as you defeat enemies, there's like, you can see the responses when you beat them. You know, some say, help! And my favorite, to me, is barf, which is well known throughout gaming, I guess. And to me though, when I say barf, it's kind of a mystery. Like, do they throw up when they like die or something? Which is, I don't know. I just don't know, but it is kind of weird. Barf. That's kind of weird, actually. And oh, and I almost forgot. Even though this game can be hard to find, it took me a while to find this game. But if you have a Game Boy Advance, Atlas, another game company, released released I think it was River City Ransom EX with the Game Boy Advance, and that has much more improvements, such as a battery save, considering the NES game I'm reviewing here just has a very long password. So if you don't want to enter a long password, get the Game Boy Advance version. It's just as fun, and I highly recommend either one. Of course, if you don't like passwords, then get the Game Boy Advance version. But since I'm kind of a collector myself, I like having both. And as usual, before we go, if you live in or around South St. Paul, Minnesota, or in the Twin Cities, Minnesota metro area in particular, or you're just watching this on your fancy smartphone and are in this area as well, please visit my good friends at Level Up Games. Of course, here is their address as usual. Hello. And also, here is their website, because they have one of those too. And here's that. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please rate and subscribe to my channel. And I also have a couple websites which I do live action stuff like the show, and I also have a stop motion animation site. Well, that's what I usually do, is stop motion. And those two sites are here listed down here: www.skakinbacon.com/skakinbaconmedia. And the animation one with the stop motion stuff is, of course, skakinbacon.com/SBA. Of course, you can put in the www if you want. But anyway, that's all for now. Thank you so much for watching this 20th episode. Thank you all so very much. And stay tuned for another episode of Power Up.